Hello, and welcome back to Minecraft Through the Ages, a series where I've been updating this world through every version of Minecraft in order, and covering all the changes made along the way. In this episode, we've started off by updating to classic version 0.0.18a_02, as both 0.0.18a and 18a_01 have been lost to time. This isn't where the sadness ends, however, as tragically enough, the only changes pertaining to the single-player version of the game are text display-based ones. The first one is the change to the left curly bracket, changing its width so that it doesn't make just a huge line. Second is the addition of the line on top and bottom of the capital I to distinguish it from the rest of the alphabet crowd. Finally, you can now also type the @, \pike, and $, and put them into multiplayer chat. Other than that, however, there is one significant addition: skins. Hopping on over to a server to show this one, and yeah, after talking about them in the last episode, skins are finally here. They may be super cool, but the lack of any real changes meant that this episode was likely to turn out to be rather short. So I decided to go ahead and try and set up a really good foundation for the medieval, with a fair few quotation marks around it, town. Firstly, however, I should mention a build that I made almost half a year ago that I just forgot to cover. Back half a year ago, I came into possession of an old Windows 8 computer. I decided that it'd be fun to load up the world on it, just, for fun, and build a wee little monument. It ended up looking like this, and was a fun way to say that this world has been through 3 if you count Windows 8.1 full Windows releases. Alright, now we can talk about all the new builds I built for 0.0.18a_02. It's actually been so long since I built most of these things that to actually sit down and record this now has been, I like kind of forgetting what I built. Like for example, right? This park here, I'm pretty sure this is new. But I honestly could not tell you if I've shown this off in a video yet. I'm really proud of it. I really like it. I think the swing, for what I did, worked out really lovely. I like the little hideout in the back. I'm a big fan of the slide and everything. Have I shown this off? I have no idea. Absolutely none. I think I built this bridge as well, actually, if I remember correctly, because I was wanting to get over there and get a view of things that I was building. So I decided, not only could I have a bridge over here, but I should probably have a little maybe more modern bridge, fitting the more modern sort of side on this area, and I really ended up liking that, and I think it turned out really nicely. But like, as an example, this bridge, no idea if I've showed this off or not. I'm pretty sure I haven't. I definitely know that I haven't shown off this little area over here. I know that this is new. I wanted to go up here. I know that I built this sort of little, I think it's Tory Gate they're called, as well as this little path when I wanted to go over and build that Christmas tree, which, is very evidently a while ago, seeing as the snow is all melted and I have my window open as I'm recording this. But I built a little sort of, herb shop back here with some sort of, produce growing in the back and some sort of stock inside with a nice open roof, a little stand that I really enjoyed, as well as, of course, I mentioned the playground. But, I've also been busy in other ways. There's, this whole area, I thought this was a little lacking, so I built a little sort of sandcastle and little park here, as well as a, bigger size of the statue that I have over there, as well as a little, underground entrance that's still under construction, still a work in progress. But, namely, in terms of big things that I built, I know that I think already shown, wait, hold on, I'm gonna have to check this. Okay, so, I'm gonna keep it real. I recorded me showing this off, but it was so long ago that I'm not using it. I'm going to reintroduce this building because I spent a lot of time on this building and I'm very proud of it. I built a sort of back alley entrance as well, but I definitely need to show off what I built because, seeing as this was a shorter episode, I really forgot how much, work I put in. I built this whole building. I built a whole sort of medieval style building that has, two sort of different buildings inside of it, with a little stand off to the side and a little, other building, well, not even little, just other building in front of it, as well as a nice little lovely park area to fill it out. But I really, really liked building this building. I thought this was super fun. I found a picture online. I don't know if I'll be able to throw it up or not, because I don't know if I still have it, but of this sort of like double house, and I just thought it would look really great in this area in the world. So, of course, I also built a little interior with some carpet, as we'll call it, as well as the, entrance to the other sort of side of the building with the rafters and everything. There's not a whole lot of interior decorating as I'm sort of limited on space, but just in terms of livability, I thought it was really nice, as well as the floor plan. I really enjoyed sort of setting this up. And I do have a sort of bedroom in here for whoever's living here. Whoever's living here is living pretty lavishly, all things considered. Got the queen-sized bed, I guess you could call it, 3 blocks long, as well as, just general windows and whatnot. but I really like the look of this building. Another building I really like the look of was, there was one that I saw that had sort of a little green, kind of green overgrown area out front, and I thought that this would look really nice as well in my world. So I decided I wanted to build a sort of, bar, kind of hangouty, kind of billiards club kind of thing, which is not really medieval at all in a way, but I just wanted to do it. So I decided that this little dome would make a perfect little entrance where you could have a little, sort of sign-in table and a chandelier, and I guess somewhere to put your coats, as well as, some sort of storage or a bar in the back. I think I set this up so you could, play cards around the table and, order some drinks or whatnot, as well as if you come up here, on the second floor above that, I set up some sort of, pool tables and somewhere you can hang out as well, with a great view as well of this other build area that I think shown off in the editing process. But that's another thing that I've been building back here, is this sort of lookout area over top of the wall, because seeing as I've had this wall up here for so long, I sort of forgot what it was like a little bit, just to have somewhere to sort of look around the world. and other than that tower, there was nowhere you could really do that. So I set up this sort of observation area where you can look over the, I guess you could call it ocean, probably more like a river, as well as, sometimes when you're on coastal cities, you'll have those viewfinders that you put the 25 cents in and you can get to look out. I tried to replicate something sort of like that here, but I don't know how well it came out. But I like the look of it, and it fills out the area, if nothing else. Alongside, building these two houses, and I guess as well, I probably should show off this little storage area that I built in here that is, going to be filled out eventually, I'm sure. I also built a sort of park area back here, and I'm sure you saw the big honkin' tree that I built. It's a little, round for my liking. I'm sure I would trim it if I had the ability to, but for what it is, I'm sort of happy with it now. I wanted to have something in this sort of back alley region behind this house and the, I guess, storage room, what it'll eventually become. And I wanted to have some, some sort of greenery that isn't just along the sides of the walls, and that's sort of what this became. Alongside this, I also sort of wanted to, connect out this area, because this has been here for a long while and didn't really have anything to do with this whole area. And so I wanted to bring them sort of together in a way. And so I added these sort of, I guess, benches, so that you can look over this, what'll soon to be sort of, parky kind of green district from up here, as well as I built this whole sort of, barrier to keep them apart. I also filled up the greenery over here, just, because I thought it was required or necessary to sort of fill it out a little more, because I know over there I've been doing it a lot, but I really do like the look of this, and it makes it seem a lot more plain and a lot more alive. And so I wanted to connect up, the sort of aqua front with the rest of the building. And I know that nothing will go over here, seeing as I have this sort of entrance. And so I just sort of greenified it up with our classic, trees that we have all over the village, as well as some sort of shrubbery and some leaves and whatnot, as well as connected the path up. I'm not even like registering the fact that so much of this must be new, but yeah, I built a whole path and connected this all together so it's more, cohesive and whatnot. Just to sort of give you a look at, the two buildings from over here. This is what they'll look like from farther away. I'm really quite happy with the way that these came out. The roof on this is perhaps a little plain, but I think it works for what it is. And I'll hop over there just so you can get a sort of more aerial view, because these are big buildings, and in Classic, where you're so small and everything has to be so big scale, if you want it to, sort of have depth, it's hard to get it from the ground floor. Alright, now that we're up here, you can sort of see a little better the tops of this place, as well as you can just get a sort of feel for how filled out this world is. I mean, I normally spawn in up here, so I get the vision that you normally don't as a viewer, but just how far we've come, really, in terms of filling out this whole area is so thoroughly impressive. And including things like this and things like this, we also have, sort of a more underground section in the little like sort of love garden that I built, and all the sort of aqua fronts that have been cleared out as well. I'll walk through here just to mention it currently, but I've also just been cleaning up general things. Like I've been I don't know if I've ever shown off that I've been sort of making the water a little more cohesive and connecting it up to the waterfront over here, as well as I've been sort of trimming up the trees, and there's that as well. But, just generally bringing the city together and making it feel a little more full. But the main big additions have been those buildings, as well as all the sort of landscaping that I've done over there. Every time that I sat down to write this script, I ended up getting a new idea for something that would be fun to build and that would add a lot to the world. As I'm sure you saw, it might have gotten a bit out of control. As I'm writing the script, the date reads the 14th of February, which just so happens to be Valentine's Day. Much in the same vein as the Christmas tree, I decided to build a little building to celebrate the occasion. My original idea was to build a little underground love garden, and that's exactly what I did. For some reason or another, somewhere along the line, the grass spreading for this world is just broken. I have no idea why or how, but it just simply doesn't. Because of this, I've just been able to keep grass down here, even though it's under darkness. And if anyone has any idea of how this might have happened, though, I would love to fix it. With that last build having been mentioned, next thing I want to talk about is some big news. Yeah, that's right, there's some big news in the Minecraft Classic scene. This sounds a little bit hilarious as these versions stopped in 2009, but right here in 2023, a big development has occurred thanks to Blue Crab 2. Blue Crab has already been credited in previous episodes for some of the great work he'd accomplished with documenting the Classic 1.2 character behaviors, and this time he's in the episodes for something much cooler, however, a fully featured Classic file viewer. Something I've already mentioned in the past in passing are discontinued features, an idea that comes along with upgrading an old world of Minecraft that I just find fascinating. These features are things that you could, at one point, obtain, but can no longer do so. They're discontinued, hence the name. There aren't many features at all in Classic, let alone ones that are discontinued, but that doesn't mean that there are none, with the main ones being what are known as, by the community, file discontinued features. They can't strictly be observed in the game, but are very much still there, and in our case, a fun little thing worth talking about. There are 4 that are available, and 4 that we've collected in our world, although technically you wouldn't know it as we've used Omen and MC Edit to combine our worlds, which doesn't preserve the discontinued features. The first is pretty simple. With any world created in 0.0.13a dev, having the world generate just sets the creator field to no name. This is, however, mutually exclusive with the other 3 fields since they require the world to be created in an earlier version. Funnily enough, technically, this wouldn't be a discontinued feature for the owner of the account with the name no name. The second field that can be different is the create time field, where the field is usually initialized with the Unix timestamp of level creation. When updating, this field will be initialized to 0 instead, with the 0 Unix timestamp representing January 1st, 1970 at, 000 UTC. At this time, Minecraft did not exist, meaning that this is indeed a discontinued feature for everyone. The third field also involves the creator field, with the username when updating being initialized to unknown instead of no name, so a separate feature. Finally, there's the name field, which represents the name of the world and is normally set to a nice world, but is changed to these 2 dashes represented like this instead. Now, it's not that these features couldn't be observed without the program that Blue Crab made, but just that it's been made easier with its advent. I'd love to show you what our world looks like in the program, but its unusual size leads it to be very laggy due to the program having separate node for every block in our world, which works out to be just around 37 million unique object instances. Needless to say, after a small talk, a fix is in the works. Now, to download the newest release of the program, and to give Blue Crab some well-earned views, I've linked to his video showing how to use and download the program in the description below. Now, as per tradition, this episode has been a long time in the works, and one of the reasons for that has been, future-proofing. In the next Minecraft update, the hotbar, in much the same way as we know it today in modern Minecraft, will be introduced to the game. With this, however, is a problem. With some of the additions that I won't mention today to the block palette, there just isn't enough space on the hotbar for all the blocks that we have in the game now. And, because of this, sand and cobblestone are just unable to be placed. Simple as that, at all. Now, because of that, I decided that I wanted to go out behind the old pyramids and into the new world, and build a 5th and likely final pyramid to the build height, this time made out of sand. Now, while I did build that pyramid, sort of, way far away, to commemorate the sand, I built something else as well, because I thought, maybe what if the sort of people that live in this village, what if they had known that there was this sort of apocalypse coming where they wouldn't be able to have any access to the cobblestone that they, build their roads out of or whatever. And so I thought it'd be fun to sort of build like a vault, like an underground vault, containing just, some cobblestone. And so I built this sort of, you can imagine this being like the entrance to some sort of nuclear bunker. But my problem was I decided to make it a little bigger than it needed to be. I decided I'd make it, circular, and I might have gone a bit overboard. So this is the stash of cobblestone they kept. To be fair, I mean, the city, they really like their cobblestone. So, they build their roofs out of it and their walls out of it and their roads out of it. So, maybe it's acceptable that they'd want to make a vault as big as this one. But yeah, that's from that level. This is actually under here is the bedrock. Like, this is as low as you could go. And I just sort of mapped it out with, there's, sphere generators online, like Minecraft sphere generators. And I just sort of made it as big as I could, a half circle while it being reasonable. And yeah, this, needless to say, took a while to dig out. But I thought it came out really cool. I love the look of this room. Shame no one will ever see it. Alright. Finally, as I'm sure you've been noticing, these recent updates were rather content light and server forward. Understandably so, as everything from 16A until now was all released during June of 2009, but that doesn't change the fact that we're still playing a very bare bones game. This will all change in the next update. I'm excited for what's to come next, and I hope this little tidbit has you excited for what's more to come as well. Sorry for the shorter episode. I ended up being pretty busy this month with semesters changing and going to Mexico with my family, and I'm really trying to have a reasonable upload schedule, I promise. Thank you everyone for the support, and the next episode will be big. And come soon, I promise. Bye!